Right now, a machine you carry in your pocket knows exactly when your motivation is lowest, exactly when you're bored, exactly when you're lonely, and it waits for that moment to pull you back in. You didn't choose to check your phone 11 times in the last hour. Something else made that choice for you. Somewhere inside a windowless office, a team of engineers spent years studying your brain, not to help you, but to make sure you never put the phone down. This isn't a story about willpower. It's a story about a war you didn't know you were fighting and losing. Here's the part that should actually bother you. The average person unlocks their phone dozens of times a day without ever deciding to. Not once did you sit down and think, I will check this app now. Your hand just moved. Your thumb just swiped. And if you think this is a personal failure, some kind of weakness only you struggle with, you're wrong. Psychologists who study behavior for a living fall into the same trap. Tech executives who helped build these apps limit their own children's screen time. If the smartest people in the room can't resist it either, then the problem was never your discipline. The problem is the design sitting in your hand, so what is actually happening inside your head? The mechanism has a name: variable reward. It's the exact same principle that keeps people pulling a slot machine lever for hours, long after they've stopped winning anything worth the time. A vending machine gives you a predictable reward. You put in money, you get your snack, and your brain moves on because there's nothing left to wonder about. A slot machine works differently. You never know if the next pull is the one that pays off, and that uncertainty is what keeps your hand moving. Your phone was built on the slot machine, not the vending machine. Every pull to refresh, every new notification, every fresh video is a lever with no guaranteed outcome, and your brain cannot stop pulling it. Here's what most people get wrong about dopamine. They think it's the chemical of pleasure, the reward you feel after something good happens. It isn't. Dopamine fires strongest in the moment right before the reward, in the anticipation, not the payoff itself. That's why the scroll never actually feels finished. You're not chasing satisfaction. You're chasing the split second of not knowing what's coming next, and that feeling resets the instant a new piece of content loads. This isn't a new discovery either. Decades ago, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner ran experiments on pigeons, testing what made them peck a lever the most. Pigeons that got food every single time they pecked eventually slowed down. But pigeons that got food unpredictably, sometimes after one peck, sometimes after 20, pecked constantly, obsessively, almost without stopping. That exact pattern, called intermittent reinforcement, is sitting inside the app you open first thing in the morning. Researchers studying compulsive phone checking have found that the brain activity looks less like a simple habit and more like the activity seen in gambling behavior. You are not casually checking your phone. In a very real sense, you are gambling with it. There's another layer to this most people never think about: the infinite scroll itself. Before infinite scroll existed, you eventually hit the bottom of a page, and hitting the bottom gave your brain a natural stopping point, a signal that said, "This is done, move on." The person who helped design the infinite scroll has since said publicly that he regrets it because removing that stopping point removes your brain's only natural exit. There's no bottom of the page anymore telling you to put the phone down. The feed was built to never end, which means the decision to stop now has to come entirely from you, with no help from the design at all. Picture someone opening an app just to check one thing. A message, a notification, a quick update. 40 minutes later, they resurface with almost no memory of what happened in between. No decision was made to stay that long. The unpredictability simply kept pulling them forward. One more scroll, one more video, one more maybe. Now picture someone else who understood exactly what was happening and removed the unpredictability on purpose. They turned off non-essential notifications. They switched their screen to grayscale so the interface stopped triggering the same visual reward. Within days, they weren't fighting for willpower anymore because the trap simply had less to grab onto. This matters for a reason most people never stop to consider. This was never really about screen time. It's about attention. And attention is the one resource you cannot get back once it's gone. Every hour spent inside an unpredictable loop is an hour not spent building the career, the relationships, or the life you actually say you want. Somewhere, a group of people is being paid extremely well to make sure that hour disappears without you noticing it. Leave. You cannot out-willpower a system engineered by teams of specialists, whose entire job is to outsmart your self-control. That fight is not fair, and pretending it is only sets you up to fail and blame yourself for it. But you can change your environment so the trap has fewer places to grab onto. Turn off the notifications engineered to interrupt you. Remove the unpredictability wherever you can. The phone was never really the addiction. The unpredictability was. And now that you can see the mechanism clearly, you're no longer fighting it blind.